What's good, guys? We're back at it again with the not the last minute predictions, but with the early full card predictions. I know this is going to be a little bit later just because it's been a lot of things going on. So this video is going to be recorded a little bit later, uploaded a little late. So shout out to the late gang who's watching it at this time. I want to say thank you, guys. We had an amazing week for UFC 310, but we can't talk about the UFC Buckley versus Covington without talking about what happened last week. I want to mention that I got Ian Machado Gary wrong, Nate Landwehr wrong, Themba Gorimbo wrong, and Weidman wrong. But there's a difference between picks and bets. So I want to mention that I know I was on Ian Machado Gary very highly. He had one of the best performances that I've seen with that rear naked choke. Very close. 3-2, the judges had it. 3 rounds for Shavkat, 2 rounds for Gary. I thought it was a very, very competitive fight, and I think this is just going to make Ian Machado Gary way better. I hope you guys all cashed out on your bets, guys, because there was some money to be made yesterday, and I know a lot of people capitalized on it. I want to mention that Weidman, unfortunately, got finished by Eric Anders. We all knew that was a possibility. Eric Anders upped the pace, and he was able to finish him. Weidman was not liking that stoppage, but I thought it was a pretty fair stoppage. It's the game. We'll get better. Themba Gorimbo versus Luque. Luque got him right into that Darce choke or Anaconda. Not sure which one exactly it was labeled as. But I want to mention that Themba Gorimbo still has that heart, and I'm still a Themba Gorimbo fan. He got put to sleep, but it happens to the best of us, guys, and you only get better from losses like that. Vicente Luque is the Darce Knight. Landwehr versus Choi. Landwehr looked absolutely off. His striking was off. Doo Ho Choi was the excellent striker, had phenomenal striking, and he looked amazing. So fair play to Doo Ho Choi. Very beautiful night. Ciryl Gane saved me, though, because wow, Ciryl Gane winning that robbery was insane. I know a lot of people did not expect that. A lot of people were on Volkov, and rightfully so. I was on Ciryl Gane, and that was not obviously it cashed, but we have to mention how Ciryl Gane has not improved his game at all. He was throwing a Kimura attempt in the entire third round and stalling and not trying to get back up to his feet. He looked terrible, looked like he wasn't getting better at all, and he got a lucky win. So out of all these guys, I think Ciryl Gane is the guy who's not making enough improvements in this game. Brian Battle really did scare me, but the lock of the week streak continues. And let's talk about how we did on the bets. I should send some of my slips. So right before I place them, I might start sending some of my slips in the YouTube community tab. So I took Ciryl Gane by points. This is not a good bet, though, because we have to look at how the performance looked out. Ciryl Gane could have lost that fight 29-28 to Volkov. So when we look at these placements, I could have just got lucky. I literally just got lucky here. Ciryl Gane by points minus 135. Honestly, this is just luck. And sometimes with a lot of gambling takes place. There's just luck. Luck that plays a factor. If not, one of the biggest factors is luck. And I want to mention that this is one of the luckiest slips that I had. These are normally my kind of bets. You know, I don't really go too big until we get later on. Sometimes I try to hit some good parlays, but that was 50 to win 87. Very good. Then right here, same game parlay pretty saved me for plus 250. 3-leg same game parlay, over 3.5 for Shavkat Rakhmonov because it changed. It was over 2.5, and then right before the fight starts, they changed it to over 3.5. So I took over 3.5 at a minus 118. I took Pantoja, and then I took that Pantoja will not go the distance with Kaya Sakura. So that cashed out for a plus 250. Nice little 3-leg same game parlay. 4-leg same game parlay. Alexander Pantoja, will this fight go the distance with Kaya Sakura? No. And then Ciryl Gane by KO on points. I got a little lucky there. And then Shavkat Rakhmonov to win by submission on points at a minus 140. There we go for plus 337. Shavkat by sub or points was the best play. I don't like playing Shavkat by KO or sub because if he doesn't get a finish and he wins by decision like how he did, it doesn't cash. Alexander Pantoja, no. Ciryl Gane by points. Shavkat Rakhmonov by submission on points. So I had a lot of the same parlays and just hammered it. Plus 466. Was just looking for some good plus money after that Nate Landwehr loss, because I had a really long parlay with Nate Landwehr in it. Shavkat Rakhmonov over 3.5. Shavkat Rakhmonov by submission on points, plus 199. Ciryl Gane by points, minus 124. Alexander Pantoja, minus 236 for my best profit that I've made the entire night, plus 769 with a 25% profit boost that I used. So the boost actually helps me, and I got plus 769 for that. But we're going to be looking for plus 2,000, plus 3,000 later on in the week, especially for this card. So tune in. Let's go. Let's break down this card. Who cares? Let's go. It's already time. Colby Covington versus Joaquin Buckley, Cub Swanson, Billy Cortino, Manel Cap, who just recently lost to Muhammad Mokaev, Bruno Silva, Dustin Jacoby, Victor Petrino, who just got subbed by Anthony Smith, who just retired, which was the saddest thing that I've seen. I wish Anthony Smith got one more win before he retired, because I don't like seeing guys retire like that who are vets, who put everything on the line and just to retire off of a loss. So we're going to be breaking down this entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event. Piera Rodriguez versus Josefine Knutsson. I want to mention that there's a lot of massive favorites on this entire card. We also have to mention how there could be a lot of wrestling exchanges on this entire card. This card could be just a wrestling scramble exchange card. Piera Rodriguez versus Josefine Knutsson. Josefine Knutsson, big-time favorite, accomplished kickboxer. Very well, 8-0 undefeated prospect. Josefine Knutsson comes from a kickboxing background, uses forward pressure for combos, good volume, good blasting kicks, good grappling, and good cage control, good pressure. And she has very good pressure when she's on top. Not that good takedown defense. Her constant forward pressure opens her up to be taken down. She's coming off of that decision win over Julia Palastri, where she was taken down 3 times. She's fighting a striker, Rodriguez. Plus forward, lets her hands go. She is wild at striking. Good takedown defense at 66%. She has 13 takedowns in 5 of her fights, but can't maintain top control. She's coming off of that DQ loss. This was by far one of the most weirdest moments I've ever seen in MMA. She's coming off of that DQ loss where she was winning the fight. She got mad she couldn't pass guard, and she headbutted her opponent. I'm going to go Knutsson, but she needs to have perfect takedown defense and perfect get-up game, and she needs to be on point. I also like the plus 3.5 for Rodriguez. We have to mention how when you are not able to pass guard and your decision-making is to headbutt your opponent, that is a bad IQ play and a bad look to choose. I'm never going to be picking Piera Rodriguez again. Maybe next year I might if she fights again and she has a favorable matchup, but I will never pick Piera Rodriguez again for her terrible fight IQ and her terrible sportsmanship. Not only does she have terrible sportsmanship, but she is very quick-tempered. The fact that you're trying to pass the guard, you can't pass it, so you headbutt your opponent, you deserve to lose that fight. And I had money on Piera Rodriguez, so she deserved to lose that fair and square. Josefine Knutsson, though, on the other hand, is an accomplished kickboxer. Both of these girls look very good, but I think Josefine Knutsson is going to look amazing by far. A big skill gap in discrepancy in the range, in the kicks, in the striking department, and I think Josefine Knutsson should do us all a favor in winning this fight by decision. I would prefer if she can finish Piera Rodriguez for what she did in her last fight, but I'm going to go Josefine Knutsson to win this fight by 29-28 unanimous decision. Should be a very close, competitive fight, and I think Josefine Knutsson gets taken down once at least, so the plus 3.5 for Piera Rodriguez is not bad. Davey Grant versus Ramon Taveras. I've been waiting to watch Ramon Taveras fight. So I've been waiting to watch Ramon Taveras fight, and specifically because of City. And you're gonna be like, why do you care so much about Ramon Taveras? Because he's facing Davey Grant, one of the best vets in the sport. In the bantamweight division. Davey Grant, a vet, busy striker, good kicks and range. A lot of people forget that he started as a wrestler and he fell in love with his hands. 12 fights under the UFC. He is very composed, coming off of that loss to Daniel Marcos, who is also fighting on this card. Davey Grant will be taking on Ramon Taveras. Powerful striker, keeps his hands low, good takedown defense, great counter strike, likes to stay in southpaw, excellent counter puncher, decent takedown defense, decent get-up game, coming off of that super close win in his UFC debut. Davey Grant has notable fights with Chito Vera. I always enjoy watching Davey Grant scrap, but Ramon is the pick, although Grant is a vet. I want to mention that Davey Grant, 13-7. Don't pay attention to that record. This guy is a vet in the UFC and has been fighting the top echelon of the division in the UFC forever. Majority Tapology is going to go Ramon Taveras. Ramon Taveras, by far, one of his best wins, in my opinion, was that Cortavius Ramirez, but we know Cortavius ended up losing as well, but I like that win over Cortavius, and I also like his win over Saeed City. City, by far, is probably one of his best wins because he got stopped early on Dana White Contender Series by KO. Early stoppage, in my opinion. And then he went on to have a successful UFC debut after having a successful Dana White Contender Series, and he ended up beating the guy who actually finished him by KO by split decision. It was a very close fight. Honestly, I thought Saeed City won that fight, but it was a very close fight, and the fact that he was able to win still gives him credit. It was still a win. Minus 145 is a perfect price tag for Ramon Taveras. I think he should be too slick, too clean, keeping his hands low, popping a jab, 1-2, 1-2 down the middle. Chris boxing, he has a perfect uppercut down the middle as well, and I think he should be able to win this fight by KO or on points. A submission could be there if Davey Grant tries to shoot for a sloppy takedown, but I'm going to go Ramon Taveras to win this fight by KO or on points, specifically by decision, 29-28, after losing the first round by getting grappled. Should be in a banger fight. Miranda Maverick versus Jamey-Lyn Horth, and this is also the last UFC until we get 3 weeks with no UFC, and that's a little sad. You know, I might go a little live more during the break of UFC because it gives me more time to chill and more time to just go live. Miranda Maverick versus Jamey-Lyn Horth. 94% of Tapology is picking Miranda Maverick. She's by far the biggest favorite on the card. Biggest favorite on the card, Miranda Maverick. And by far, it could be for a right reason. Biggest favorite on the card, Miranda Maverick. Miranda Maverick is not a finisher. Always a massive favorite, and she's always a massive sweat. Miranda has good wrestling, good activity. Averages a little more than 2 takedowns per fight. But when she can't get you down, she doesn't look her best. She has positive striking differential at 4-3. She works forward for that takedown. Her last win, Dion Barbosa, she had a bunch of takedowns with 8 minutes of control, taking on Jamey-Lyn Horth. Huge for her weight class, good kickboxer with good fight IQ. Her takedown defense is really bad. Her get-up game is better. She's coming off that close win over Ivana Petrovic. Very clear she can't grapple. I'll go Miranda Maverick by decision. I picked against her in the Andre Ali fight at UFC 298, Volkanovski versus Topuria. And ever since, I've been very high on Miranda Maverick. I've been picking her ever since. Honestly, I like Miranda Maverick, and I like her to win this fight by decision. But we also have to mention the plus 3.5 is good for Jamey-Lyn Horth. Maybe she can get around. Miranda Maverick might not win this fight 30-27, 30-27 on all judges' scorecards. There might be a little round where it's a little bit competitive, and it might be going 1-1 into the third round. And the plus 3.5 hits if this fight goes the distance. I think Miranda Maverick should be able to win this fight. Her most recent loss is to Jasmine Davicius, who we know that girl talks like Forrest Gump, but she's by far one of the best wrestlers in her division as well. She's very good. Priscilla Cachoeira, nice little 3 streak. Andrea Lee, unanimous. And then Dion Barbosa. Dion Barbosa being by far one of her most impressive wins. 65-inch reach, 66, 5'7", and 5'3". She's going to be the shorter fighter. But when you're grappling, it doesn't matter how tall you are. It just matters on whether you can get the takedown or not. I'm going to go Miranda Maverick to win this fight by unanimous decision. Should be a close fight, close competitive fight. I like the plus 3.5 for Jamey-Lyn Horth. But I'll go 29-28, 30-27, and 29-28 by unanimous decision. Let's go. Let's go. That's a banger fight. Miles Johns versus Felipe Lima. This is another banger fight. We have to mention that Miles Johns has been getting... He's not been getting a silver platter from the UFC. This guy was set to face off against Cody Garbrandt, and now he's facing off against a guy who could probably kick his ass. Let's break it down. Miles Johns versus Felipe Lima. Felipe is most likely the favorite. I believe he is the favorite. Miles was supposed to fight Cody Garbrandt back in November, but Cody was injured, so he has 2 fight camps in a month, which is very important. Miles is a good wrestler, good hands, good speed. He used to always wrestle. Now he tends to strike more. I prefer when he mixes it up. He's coming off of that 4th win in a row with a striking win over Douglas Silva. We have to mention, though, this was a no contest right here against Dan Argueta. So technically it's a 3-fight win streak. I still give him that win over Daniel Argueta. Honestly, he's coming off that 4th win in a row. Honestly, I'll just give him a 4th win in a row. Douglas Silva, he's taking on, honestly, his most recent win was to Douglas Silva on Garage. He's taking on Felipe Lima, a bantamweight prospect, well-rounded guy, good striker, nice spin kicks and doubles, mixes his MMA very well, not too much power, coming off of that short-notice UFC debut win where it was tied going to the 3rd until Lima got the takedown and got the sub, which was a very impressive win. By far one of his best wins on his resume. 5 months ago, Muhammad Naimov was expected to absolutely run through Felipe Lima. And what does Felipe Lima do? A lot of people thought that he was losing that fight. Maybe he was losing 2-0, but the judges had it 1-1. Maybe you could have had it 2-0, but he was still able to get that takedown in the last 3rd round and get the submission, which is by far a very good win. Majority Tapology has Lima to win by submission inside the distance. I'm going to go Felipe Lima to win this fight, but I'm going to go Felipe Lima to win this fight by submission or on points. I really like that double chance. And I want to mention how Miles Johns is an extraordinary wrestler. And Felipe is only 26 years old. There could be an instance where Felipe Lima is trying to strike, and then he gets put in a position where he gets taken down, and Miles Johns is grappling, stalling, and takes a round off of Felipe Lima. I want to mention, though, Felipe Lima's from Brazil, 26 years old, featherweight. I believe this fight's at bantamweight, though. This is going to be a bantamweight fight, so he has fought at both weight classes before. We're going to see how he performs here. I'll go Felipe Lima to win this fight by submission or on points, and specifically by decision. 30-27, 29-28, and 29-28 after losing the second round after Miles Johns' hard grappling. Let's go. Shane Woodson versus Fernando Padilla. This is going to be a banger fight. Woodson, a super long technician, one of the few fighters who can use his reach. 84% takedown defense, stretches his legs so you can't clasp your hands. Coming off of that one-sided win over Alex Caceres where he controlled range and striking. Taking on Fernando Padilla, rangy guy, but he prefers to fight in the pocket, keep it dirty, super aggro in the pocket style. Boxing works. He has very good clinch knees and has excellent boxing in my opinion, and he loves to wrap up a submission at any moment, but has no wrestling. Coming off of that sub-win over Luis Palio. We have to mention, though, Pajulo, however you want to mention it, you have to mention that was a beautiful submission Darce choke. This is going to be one of by far my most anticipated fights. I'll go Shane Woodson to dance around the cage for 15 minutes for that, but a sub for Padilla could happen at any moment. We have to mention how both of these guys have fairly long statures for their physique. 6'1", 76-inch reach, 78-inch reach, 6'2". These guys are long for their division. Sometimes when you're longer, it tends to make it easier to wrap up your opponents. So there could be an instance where Shane Woodson's winning, dancing around the cage, and Fernando Padilla is in a scramble out of nowhere, and he ends up trying to wrap up a choke, and he could get Shane Woodson in that choke. I'm going to go Shane Woodson to win this fight by decision. I like the over 2.5, and I like Shane Woodson by decision, method of victory straight. I do think a KO could be likely, but it won't be on Shane Woodson's side. This guy's a decision merchant. So give me Shane Woodson to win this fight by 29-28, 30-27, and 29-28 unanimous decision. Should be a banger fight. My guy Shane Woodson. Let's go, Shane Woodson. Drakkar Klose versus Joel Alvarez. Joel Alvarez is a massive favorite. Has looked like a beast lately. Drakkar Klose is a very good wrestler. He was a state champ wrestler too, which is very impressive, but doesn't have the best takedown defense. But you don't have to worry about that in this fight. This is going to be a striking battle, in my opinion, with Drakkar Klose trying to look for the takedowns. Honestly, he has solid boxing, good kicks, and good power, well-rounded, coming off of that decision win over Joaquim Silva, which was very good in my opinion because he got dropped by Joaquim Silva but survived a guillotine attempt and he won that fight. Honestly, Drakkar Klose has put together a very good win streak. 4 fights, solid win streak. Brandon Jenkins, Rafa Garcia, Joe Selecki, and then Joaquim Silva by unanimous decision. This guy has a better win streak than Joel Alvarez, but his most recent loss was to Arman Tsarukyan, so you can't take that away from him because Drakkar Klose would lose to Arman Tsarukyan as well. I want to mention how Joel Alvarez is one of the biggest favorites on the card, like Miranda Maverick. Maybe you could put those two together in a nice little 2-leg parlay. But Joel Alvarez is really coming into his own game, has a very good regimen, 31 years old versus 36 years old, 6'3", 77-inch reach for the lightweight division, very long, very good knees in the center, very good, dominant performances, like that win over Elvis Brenner. That KO win was brutal, and it made us think, wow, is Elvis Brenner done? But I hope Elvis Brenner's not done. He's had wars over and over again. So give me Joel Alvarez to win this fight by KO. And I'll go Joel Alvarez to win this fight by KO in the 3rd round. I know Joel Alvarez is a KO guy. But we have to mention that this guy might get a TKO late. He doesn't get it. Sometimes he can get a first-round finish. But if you look, round 3 right there, TKO. Right here, elbow and uppercuts. Standing TKO round 1 against Diego Moises. Armbar round 1, guillotine choke round 1, ground and pound round 2, round 1 triangle choke, Darce choke round 2. He has perfect submissions off of the ground as well. And I don't think he's defended one takedown yet. Drakkar Klose is going to be taking on Joel Alvarez, a very tall, very good striker who's managing distance very well. He has solid kicks, and he's good at boxing. decent at grappling, but he hasn't took anyone down yet. 0 takedowns, and he hasn't defended 1 takedown at all in the UFC. But he subbed 4 out of the 5 people who took him down, coming off that TKO win over Elvis Brenner, where his striking looked excellent. I'm very high on Joel Alvarez. Joel is a prospect. Joel is probably one of my most confident picks of this card. Tune into Wednesday. He's probably going to be there. And at a minus 340 favorite, I think if you take Joel Alvarez by KO straight, I think you'll get good plus money or good odds, a good price tag. I'll go Joel Alvarez, and I'll go Joel Alvarez to win by 2nd or 3rd round TKO. I'll sprinkle both. Let's go. Joel Alvarez by KO on points is a very good win. Is a very good double chance as well. Let's go. Michael Johnson versus Ottman, Azaitar. Featured prelim, I believe. Johnson, a true vet, incredible resume, 19 losses, but to the best. Benil Dariush, Habib Nurmagomedov, Justin Gaethje. Michael Johnson has one of the best, most interesting resumes. Not the best. He is so clean, crisp striking, talented striker, positive striking differential, takedown defense, 81%. Can't believe it's that high with how long he's been in the game. He's old, but he did just beat Darius Flowers back in February. He's taking on Ottman Azaitar, powerful striker who wants chaos. He loves to scrap. He comes forward, walks down, looks for something wild. 4 fights in the UFC, 2 wins, 2 losses, and he has not seen the second round. He has good takedown defense coming off of that first round KO loss to Francisco. Just 18 months ago, Michael Johnson got brutally KO'd. 38-year-old Michael Johnson is the better fighter. He is old, but he should win this. Johnson chin could be over, but I'm going to go Johnson. I want to mention how Ottman Azaitar has never seen the second round, and that's very important to mention in the UFC because this fight is not going the distance, in my opinion. I think somebody's going to get knocked out in this fight. I know Tapology has Johnson to win by decision or by KO, and if you're going to Azaitar, you're going straight by KO. I'm going to go Michael Johnson to win this fight by unanimous decision. His record looks very, very ugly at 22 wins and 19 losses. It makes you think, like, how high was Michael Johnson's pinnacle? He's the type who could beat Dustin Poirier and then lose to CM Punk the same night. But I'm going to go Michael Johnson at minus 185. Be careful with this fight. This 1-800-GAMBLER fight. Ottman Azaitar could just completely knock out Michael Johnson out cold, and he wins the fight, even though Ottman Azaitar is not the better fighter. Michael Johnson is the better fighter on paper. He should be able to win this fight on paper, but in cage fighting, there is no paper. So give me Michael Johnson to win this fight by KO or on points. If there's a KO, I'll go KO second round. If it's on points, I'll go 29-28 unanimous decision. Very low confidence pick, but if I'm confident in one person, I'm more confident in Michael Johnson than Ottman Azaitar, who hasn't touched the second round. Let's go, Michael Johnson, MJ. Let's get a good win. Let's go. I need to see these veterans get wins because after seeing Anthony Smith lose and saying, just punch me so I could feel something to Dominic Reyes, this fight game is very, very dirty. Navajo Stirling versus Tucos. Mackenzie versus Amanda Ribas was moved to the card to Vegas 101. So this card went from 14 fights to 13. I love having a 14-fight card. UFC 310 was amazing. Opening up the main card, Navajo Stirling, former kickboxer, very early in his career. Good combos, works kicks well, touches up the body very, very nicely. Not high volume guy, but a great job at making his strikes count. Inside the pocket, he likes knees. We don't know what his grappling looks like enough because he doesn't have enough fights. Defended some takedowns, but against another kickboxer, taking on Tokkos. He's a grappler at heart. He waits for a mistake and lowers and charges for a takedown. If he gets on top, he can control very well. Coming off of that sub loss to a beast in short notice debut, Tokkos. Coming off of that sub loss to a beast in short notice debut, Tokkos is not the best, but he does have good takedowns. If Navajo can keep this standing, there should be a large gap in levels on the feet. But this is a 1-800-GAMBLER fight. A 5-1 favorite who's making his UFC debut with only 5 fights on his record. A guy who's a minus 500, undefeated, making his UFC debut against a guy who has pretty good takedowns and pretty good top control. Plus 380 for the moderate underdog. 34 years old versus 27. I'm going to go Navajo Stirling, and I'm going to go Navajo Stirling to win this fight inside the distance. We have to mention how picks and bets are very different. I could make a pick where I'm going Navajo Stirling by KO second round. And that's official. I'll go Navajo Stirling by KO second round. But am I going to bet Navajo Stirling second round? No. If I'm going to bet Navajo Stirling, I'll take Navajo Stirling by KO or on points when the time comes, when the props are there. And I'll take Navajo Stirling in a parlay. I'm not going to just take Navajo Stirling straight up money line. That is a 1-800-GAMBLER type of mistake. We have to mention this was the same position that a lot of people were in with the Ian Machado Gary fight. I thought Ian Machado Gary would win, but a pick is very different from a bet. I think Ian Machado Gary can have a lot of success. I think Aljamain Sterling can have a lot of success, but I'm not going to bet on them. So I'm going to go Navajo Stirling, but I'm not going to bet on him. If I see a nice double chance KO on points, maybe minus 300, I'll take it as a parlay piece. I'll go Navajo Stirling to win by KO second round over Tuco Tokkos. Let's go. Hopefully he has a successful debut and we don't get another fraud check. Daniel Marcos versus Adrian Yanez, by far one of my most anticipated fights on this entire card. We see that this is a very close fight. But before we go into that, we have to find out what we need to know about these guys. Fight of the night potential right here. Yanez, fun, high-volume boxer, fast hands, decent chin, slow starter, gets outstruck in the first. Okay, so he's a slow starter. And you want to know how we know he's a slow starter? He gets outstruck in the first round of 4 of his last 6 fights. Yes, he's gotten outstruck in 4 of his last 6 fights in the first round. So he tends to lose the first round often or get outstruck the first round. He has 9 fights in the UFC. 5 of them were fight of the night bonuses, and 6 of them were stoppage wins. Very good takedown defense at 100%. 0 offensive takedowns. So far, very good boxer. By far, one of the best boxers I've seen. Coming off of that first round KO win over Vinicius Salvador. He's taking on Daniel Marcos. Good combos. Loves to march forward. Good 1-2 flying knee. Undefeated prospect. Has an 87% takedown defense. 8 KOs and 8 decisions. Split right down the middle. He's dangerous. Has great cardio. He's coming off of that win over Sexy Mexi. Not one person shoots a takedown here. I'll take the undefeated prospect. But Yanez might be the faster, smoother, more crisper boxer. Yanez is a beast, but you never know how good Marcos is until we test him against a guy like Adrian Yanez. Honestly, Adrian Yanez could be the better boxer by miles. Yanez is the best striker he's ever faced. Let's find out how good Marcos is. We have to mention how Daniel Marcos is undefeated, but that no contest at Richie Lang was a nut shot. Honestly, he was winning that fight. And that's fine. He is coming off that beautiful win over Sexy Mexi, minus 175 favorite. I think it's a good price tag, but we have to mention how Adrian Yanez has fought a little bit of higher competition, being in Rob Font and Jonathan Martinez. Daniel Marcos versus Adrian Yanez is a fight where it's going to be a crisp boxing clinic. These guys are not going to shoot a takedown. If there is somebody shooting a takedown, it might be if somebody gets hurt and then they shoot a takedown. But I think this is a mirror match. This is exactly what a mirror match looks like. 135, 5'7" and 5'7", 69-inch reach to 70. And this could be about speed. This could turn into a battle of speed, of power, of who can get the edge, who can counter the other fighter faster in a 15-minute war. So Adrian Yanez can definitely squeak out a split decision or even a unanimous decision. But I'm going to go Daniel Marcos as my early pick. He tends to just always perform. He had a beautiful win over Davey Grant as well. Simon Oliveira, Brandon Lewis. Very new in the UFC, but this is by far one of his hardest tests. A very good underdog. By far one of the best underdogs in the entire card is Adrian Yanez. So stay tuned for that. But I'm going to go Daniel Marcos to win this fight by 29-28, 30-27, and 29-28 unanimous decision. Maybe even a double chance would be nice by KO on points. Let's go up the card. Dustin Jacoby versus Victor Petrino. Not Victor, Vitor. Vitor is a monster. Good left hook, slowly becoming a grappler. He has 16 takedowns in last 5 fights. Takedown defense is okay. Good job working his way up. Is slowly becoming a better grappler. We know Smith retired, but Smith had a good guillotine win over Vitor Petrino. His most recent fight, he got subbed by Smith because of poor fight IQ, taking on Dustin Jacoby, who was a good kickboxer at one point. Technically sound, 60% takedown defense, but if you watch tape, he has really good takedown defense, really decent. Coming off of that KO loss to Dominic Reyes, who we saw just finished Anthony Smith, where we know now his chin is gone, absolutely obliterated. Getting caught. So, does getting caught in a submission like Vitor did by Smith make him look bad? Yeah, but I think he needed that loss in order to get better. He needs better fight IQ from now on. Not a lot to mention when it comes to this fight. This is a battle of who can test or impose their will. We have to mention how Dustin Jacoby is one win out of his last 5. And who is that? That's Kennedy Nzechukwu, who just moved to heavyweight and is having a bunch of success. If you're a light heavyweight and you're not having success, move up to heavyweight. Light heavyweights are better than heavyweights. And usually, like if you're a Johnny Walker, he'll probably have more success at heavyweight unless he faces a power puncher. But I think Dustin Jacoby should move to heavyweight. Honestly, he's not looking good at light heavyweight. He's facing better guys, and if he wants a better chance to win, heavyweight's to go. Vitor Petrino just lost to Anthony Smith, his first loss. Seemed like he didn't really care after losing. But he was going for a big takedown. Big takedown. Tries to slam Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith readjusts his guillotine, wraps his legs around Vitor Petrino, and gets a submission. We have to mention, Vitor Petrino was a massive favorite. So that was a massive upset. He's a massive favorite again over Dustin Jacoby. So we'll see if this is going to be a massive upset. But I think he needed that loss to Anthony Smith in order to get better. 77-inch reach, 6'2", 206. Dustin Jacoby's a little taller. 1.5 inch reach advantage for Vitor Petrino. I'm going to go Vitor Petrino to win this fight inside the distance. I'm going to go specifically by... I'll go by KO on points. Honestly, I do like the submission side, but we know that if he's going to win this fight, he has a beautiful left hook, and he does have a good arm triangle, but his left hook is very good. I'll go Vitor Petrino to win this fight by KO on points. Maybe I might take submission on points, but for right now, I'll take Vitor Petrino to win this fight by KO on points. If it's a KO, I'll go second round KO, and by unanimous decision, I'll go 29-28, 30-27, and 30-27 on all judges' scorecards. Let's go. I feel bad for Dustin Jacoby, though. He's always getting fed to the wolves. This guy has a hard job, man. Manel Cap versus Bruno Silva. Flyweight has gotten so much better, man. Flyweight has gotten so much better lately. Manel Cap beat Kaya Sakura twice. UFC just spent a bunch of dollars just promoting Kaya Sakura, but Kaya Sakura is a good addition to the flyweight division. Manel Cap is explosive and fast, bounces in and out very well. By far one of the best in and out movement in the flyweight division. Closes distance very decently, but sometimes he doesn't perform like he did with Mokaev. Bruno Silva is a powerhouse. He is very well-rounded, very tough, and makes fights ugly. Started his UFC career with a couple of losses, then got a couple of wins together. Sub-win over Tyson Nam and a KO win over Cody Durden, who just lost to Joshua Van, but was having a very successful first round. Bruno Silva is good, but Manel Cap is more technical. I'll go the over 2.5. I'll go this fight goes a distance, and I'll go Cap by decision. I want to mention how Bruno Silva is that guy who could be losing a fight and then completely just win out of nowhere. He was losing against Cody Durden. You know, Cody Durden is a beautiful wrestler, has good success in the first round against Joshua Van. Wrestles, takes him down, but then he gasses because he can't wrestle for a good 15 minutes. And then Joshua Van is telegraphing his takedowns and defending them very good and timing the takedown defense. So if Manel Cap can time Bruno Silva's rhythm, time his movement, time his in and out, time his counter-striking, and enter his flow state, I do think Manel Cap can easily run away with a decision, unanimous decision victory. But we have to mention how he lost to Mokaev. It was a staring match. He was just staring at Mokaev. If he stares at Bruno Silva, he's going to let Bruno Silva work. He's going to let him get his movement, and he's going to let him sneak away with a win. I do think, though, that this is a fight for Manel Cap, star boy. I'm a motherfucking star boy. I think this is a fight for him to win. So, I'm going to go Manel Cap to win this fight by KO on points. And I'll go specifically by unanimous decision. I'll take the over 2.5, and I'll take this fight goes a distance. I'll take Manel Cap to win this fight. Excuse me. Excuse me. Give me 1 sec. All right, my bad, guys. It's getting cold. I'll take Manel Cap to win this fight by unanimous decision. I'll go 29-28 on all just scorecards, maybe even split. After having a very competitive first round, you know Bruno Silva has that. He's a slow starter, but he does have that power, and he's a powerhouse that just absolutely runs through everybody. I'm going to go Manel Cap to win this fight by unanimous decision. Let's go. Let's go, Manel Cap. Let's go. I'm surprised he was just staring at Mokaev, though. I expected him to have a little bit of a better performance against Mokaev. Cub Swanson versus Billy Cortino. Banger co-main event. Co-main event banger. Cub 41. With Amanda Ribas and Dern not here, this is a way better co-main event. And a beautiful, beautiful co-main event. A vet, a creative striker in Cub Swanson. A fight of the night bonus king. Cub can wrestle. Averages around 1 takedown per fight. But he is old, and he's coming off of that close loss to Andre Fili. He's taking on Billy Q, who's a very effective, he's taking on Billy Q, who's a very good grappler, solid striking offense, very effective with almost 8 significant strikes landed per minute, high volume. Billy has a weird style, but fantastic judo, 23% takedown accuracy, but he does have 10 takedowns in 11 fights. Coming off of that sub-loss to Uselyis, I think Billy can win. He's faster. He's faster. He has better volume. His output is insane, but Cub is a beast. I'll go Billy, but I like the plus 3.5 for Cub. Swanson is good. Over 2.5 is good, but an over 1.5 would be better. I want to mention how Cub Swanson is 41 years old, but I remember when he competed in the Apex, and he brought his wife and his 3 kids, and they all looked exactly like Cub Swanson. They looked like little cubs. They literally looked like little cubs watching Cub Swanson fight, and he won that fight. I believe that fight was against, I'm not sure who that fight was against exactly, but it was a beautiful sight to see. You know, he's fighting in front of his kids, and he gets a beautiful win in front of his kids in the Apex. So I think he's trying to find one more sneaky win, and if there's a possibility where he can win, it's this fight right here in a co-main event for Colby Covington versus Joaquin Buckley. I think this is going to be a banger fight. Tampa, Florida. You know, everybody's going to be in the crowd. A lot of people are going to be ready to watch this fight, and a lot of people are going to be cheering for Cub Swanson. The fact that majority Tapology is on Cub Swanson, you got to keep an eye out because some people are already betting on Cub Swanson as a beautiful underdog. 29-14-0. But we have to mention when Cub Swanson is in his mode, he has some of the best head movement, some of the best footwork, and this guy is a bonus king. This guy collects bonuses like if he's a magnet. The bonuses come to him. He doesn't look for the bonuses come to him. The bonuses look for him. Bonus king is very important because that means that he's able to perform consistently. Billy Cortillo is a guy who cannot perform consistently. Shane Burgos lost. Edson Barbosa KO'd. Knee lost. Uselyis lost. This guy folds to the ultimate. Just give him a little bit of adversity, and this guy folds every single time. Billy Cortillo, Bill Algeo, same guy, just put them together, same shit. I'm going to be going Billy Cortillo, minus 160 favorite. I think it's a very good price tag, but I do like the over 1.5 or the over 2.5 in this fight. I think this is another fight where this could be a split decision, a very close fight, and then it's like a Sorogan and Volkov fight. Volkov won that fight, and Sorogan gets the decision. What? What is this judging? Judging can infiltrate and affect your whole career. Volkov is never going to get a title shot because of that robbery decision that he lost. We need justice for Volkov because now he's not going to get a title shot ever in his whole career because of a weird judge, because of 2 judges that thought that he lost that fight. This could be another one of those fights where it goes to decision and Cub Swanson wins because Billy Cortillo is making weird fight IQ decisions that he shouldn't be making. I'm going to be going Billy Cortillo, very low confidence, but I'm going to take him at a minus 160. I think it's a perfect price tag, and I think money line is perfect. I'd rather take the over 1.5 or the over 2.5, or that this fight goes a distance. But if I have to pick somebody, I'm going to go Billy Cortillo, and I'm going to go Billy by decision. I think he should be able to take down Cub Swanson. His 23% takedown accuracy is bad, but it's because he's always shooting. And that's why he was subbed by Uselyis. He kept on shooting. That's why he was knocked out by Edson Barbosa. He kept on shooting, and he ate a flush knee. Sometimes his sloppy takedowns is what gets him. A guillotine choke could be perfect for Cub Swanson. If I'm Cub, I'm practicing the knee down the middle like Edson Barbosa, and I'm practicing my guillotine all day. This guy's going to be shooting all day. I would love for Cub Swanson to win. I want Cub Swanson to win. But we have to think smart, and we have to take age into consideration. I'm going to go Billy Cortillo by unanimous decision, 29-28 on all judges' scorecards after losing the 3rd round. Let's go. Main event time, baby. Colby Covington versus Joaquin Buckley. Can this card get any better? They said, Ian Gary, you got to fight Shafkat. Colby said, oh, shit, Ian Gary's not in? Fuck it. I'm taking Buckley. Fuck it, I'll go Buckley. Let's go, Buckley. Numanza versus Colby. Chaos. Covington. The interim champ. This guy has touched higher ceilings than Buckley, but Buckley's working his way up. 20 wins, 6 losses, and 0 draws. 17 wins, 14 losses, and 0 draws. Colby Covington is that guy who is a mystery box. You never know what you're going to get. This guy has, out of his last 5 fights, why am I seeing 2019 there? Why am I seeing 2019? Why am I seeing the year 2019 there? Because he's not active. When there's no activity, what does that come with? That comes with a welterweight prospect being favored heavily against a guy who is not active at all. Majority Tapology has Buckley to finish him inside the distance. But let me read to you guys what I got. Very good main event. Let me clean my nose. Sorry. Very good main event to go. Sorry, I didn't mute my mic. Very good main event to go from fighting to a world title to a short notice main event in Tampa. Colby has been streaming on Twitch praising GOOOOO, which is weird. And he's been playing slots and gambling. The only other guy who I saw playing slots and gambling before a fight was Max Holloway. And he got knocked the fuck out. Colby, why are you streaming 2 weeks before your fight? I don't know. Maybe it has nothing to do. Maybe it doesn't have anything to do with it. Maybe it does. Colby looked terrible against Leon. I enjoy Prime Colby. The one who went toe-to-toe with Prime Usman. So Leon could get his fluke win. Remember, Colby walked so that way Leon Edwards could run. He went toe-to-toe with Prime Usman so that way Leon could get his fluke win. He has insane heart, insane pace. He was slow. He was just slow and just staring at Leon, waiting till the end of the fight to wrestle, taking on a welterweight prospect in Joaquin Buckley, a powerhouse, excelling at cutting angles, and he beat Wonder Boy, who, in my opinion, he was losing that fight, but he didn't quit. He kept on charging forward, found the button, and put him out. Buckley has very good kicks to the body, and he has a very good presence in the cage. You can feel his presence when he's in the cage, and you can feel his momentum gaining and increasing as the fight goes on. Colby looked like a completely different person his last fight. We don't know what we get with Colby. He's a mystery box, like in Black Ops. But if this Colby has been training relentlessly, not taking breaks during this inactivity, he can absolutely maul Buckley. Maybe it's all persona to sell tickets, but he's had a lot of success in American Top Team. Unfortunately, he's no longer in that gym. Zero improvements, lack of activity. He hasn't improved at all, and we know Colby always takes time off. But can he perform consistently against a prospect who just KO'd Wonder Boy? I think Colby was scared of Leon. I think in that Leon Edwards fight, this guy Colby was scared as shit. Scared of the unknown of Leon Edwards' question mark kick. Leon Edwards is a guy who just got absolutely demolished by Bilal Muhammad. A guy who is no longer elite. A guy who was never elite. Leon Edwards is a guy who fluked his way to a title shot. Maybe there's a hot take. Colby walked so Leon Edwards could run. There's no Leon Edwards championship if Colby never fights for the belt. I think if Usman fought Leon Edwards earlier, I think he would win. But there's no ifs, ands, buts. No, none of that. We're talking about a fight. Colby Covington versus Joaquin Buckley. I think Colby could take a round. He took 1 round off of Leon Edwards. I believe maybe the last round if you want to give it to him. Maybe, maybe not. You don't have to give it to him. But he did put the pressure, and it looked like he was scared that whole fight until he wanted to put the gas. And when he did put the gas, he was able to take down Leon Edwards very, very easily. I think Colby Covington is not going to have that same success trying to take down a guy like Joaquin Buckley. He needs to set up his takedowns. And how do you set up the takedowns with striking? His striking is not that good. He looks for a good 1-2, and he's very weak to the body. If you know and you watch the Usman fights very closely, he got finished in that first Usman fight. How? By getting touched up to the body. He got a 5th round. He got 5th round TKO'd by Usman by that 5th round body shot, I believe. Yeah, by KO punches. It was a beautiful, beautiful TKO win for Usman. And then prior to that, he beat Tyron Woodley. Very good performance. He finished Tyron Woodley, but Tyron Woodley had like a rib injury, and Tyron Woodley was off of a very bad skid. Then he lost to Kamaru Usman in the rematch. And Usman's last win is Colby Covington. So make what you want, guys. George Masvidal, he beat by unanimous decision. And then he lost to Leon Edwards. By far, not as good or not as close as a nice resume as Joaquin Buckley. Andre Fiallo, who's no longer in the UFC, KO'd. Alex Moreno, who he couldn't KO, which is kind of weird. How good is Alex Moreno's chin? Vicente Luque KO'd, which is a very good win, considering Vicente Luque just beat Themba Gorimbo. Nuzatan Rosibov, beautiful win. And then Stephen Thompson. I've been picking against Joaquin Buckley almost every time, guys. And I'm going to do it again. Fuck it. Nah, I'm just kidding. Well, okay, I'm going to go Colby Covington, and I'm going to go Colby Covington to win this fight by 48-47, 49-46, and 48-47 unanimous decision. And that being said, I want to mention that this is early predictions, so there might be an official pick flip, but I'm going to be doing more tape study. I want to mention how this is going to be one of those fights where a lot of people are going to be high on Buckley, very high on Buckley. But we have to mention that, in my opinion, my rightful opinion, I think a good blast double leg takedown, you just need one. I think a good blast double leg takedown can take a round off of Buckley. Maybe Colby Covington could try to maintain top control, but we need his pace and we need the cardio. I think the cardio is on Colby Covington's side. The power is on Joaquin Buckley's side. I'm going to be going Colby Covington, very low confidence pick. I know majority Tapology is going Numanza to win this fight by KO inside the distance, but I'm going to go Colby Covington Chaos to win this fight by unanimous decision. I think there's a pick your poison with these types of fights. You can go Joaquin Buckley by double chance by KO on points, or you can go Colby by decision. I don't think it's anything in between. I want to mention how this is a very low confidence pick. He's the underdog. I know a lot of people are not going to be favoring him. He's 36 years old, inactive, but every now and then, Colby tends to perform. And you just need one good performance against Buckley. You just need one good takedown, control him. Every single round starts on the feet, so that favors Buckley. But I think one good takedown at the start of every round, or just threatening it. We could get like a little... I know Colby doesn't have the type of cardio as Merab, but Colby is okay with failing a couple of takedowns. And I think he took this fight because he thinks that he has an advantage somewhere. So I think there's something that we don't know that Colby has up his sleeve. So I'm going to go Colby Covington to win this fight. 48-47 unanimous decision. Very low confidence pick. I think he should be able to put the pressure, get Joaquin Buckley a little tired. And when Buckley's a little tired, he's not a quitter. One thing you can't say about Buckley is not a quitter. You cannot say that about Buckley. But I will say, Buckley's takedown defense is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. But defending the takedowns consistently could be a little bit of pressure and could get him a little tired. I think this could be going maybe 2-2 going into the fifth round, and then whoever takes the fifth round takes it. I wouldn't be surprised if Numanza wins this fight by unanimous decision, because Colby tends to make fights go a little longer than they need to be. Sometimes when you think he's going to get finished, he tends to not get finished. So I'm going to go Colby Covington to win this fight by 48-47 unanimous decision. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if this is a bullshit pick. Let me know if I'm just a Colby Covington fan, if I'm a bum, if Colby Covington's not winning, little bro. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to go Colby. And for the relentless pace of cardio, very low confidence pick because we don't know if Colby Covington is a shell of his former self or not. But I'm going to go Colby Covington to beat Joaquin Buckley. Let's go. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let's go. Let me know what you guys think. And let me know if you guys like my picks and the betting tips. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's fucking go. Let's go. The best is blessed, baby. And for an official pick flip, there might be one for the main event. But for now, I'm going Colby Covington. Let's go. I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for being here. And thank you guys for giving me so much fucking love. Peace.